Hello, my name is Gabby. I styled a vintage piece every single day for an entire year, and here's how it went.
I'm Gabby, and I'm wearing a vintage piece every single day for a year. Day 14, day 18, and day 28, day 111. If you're gonna have a house in thrifters, did you?
1 day left. We did it. We styled a vintage piece every single day for an entire year. Let's take it back to the beginning. So I inherited this collection of vintage clothes from my grandma, who has been a vintage collector her entire life. So we've got pieces from like the 1890s. We have pieces through the 1990s. With a lot of things from the 60s and 70s because that was grandma's, young adulthood. She loved those pieces. One of the most commonly asked questions has always been, why did your grandma keep all of that? And the answer is just that clothes have always meant a lot to her. She's got pieces from my great-great-great-aunt Stella, who passed away when I was very young. She's got pieces from her sisters, from my mom, from a lot of the people who are no longer with us. So I grew up with vintage being a part of my life, whether I knew it or not. I remember wearing like this young Edwardian wrap top to school all the time. I didn't know that it was from the 70s. I just thought that it was cute. But sometime during college, I finally really understood what vintage was, and something changed for me. I was feeling so badly that we had these closets filled with gorgeous clothes, some of them antiques, that were not getting used because A, I was afraid how I was gonna be perceived, and B, I was so afraid to ruin them. And then grandma told me this story.
Let me tell you a story. My grandma knew a woman in her town who collected china, and she loved it, but she never used it or showed anyone because she was saving it for a special occasion. Unfortunately, a tornado came through and took everything, including all of her china. So that might be kind of an extreme story, but it really stuck with me, and that's how I view vintage. If you save it for a special occasion, it might never get its time to shine.
So in an attempt to let these clothes get their time to shine, and also to archive grandma's stories, I had the idea to style a vintage piece every day for the year, and oh my lord, y'all, it was a commitment. I mean, honestly, there were days where I did not want to wear vintage. There were days I did not want to style, and there were days where I was stuck. And it was always the days where I posted something that I was like, this is okay, that people would love it. This is the first video that popped off. It was about this 1930s red satin dressing gown that belonged to great-great-great-aunt Stella, and it was not meant to be worn outside the house. This was you wore this in your home to get dressed, and people loved it so much that I found an incredible community. Truly, people from the ages of little girls too, up into their 90s. I had a 90-year-old woman send me dresses that she wore in the 50s. It's just so cool to me, truly so cool, how community of people who might have nothing else in common come together over clothes. And I always knew that clothes meant a lot to me. And I always knew that it was a way for grandma and I to feel closer to the women in my life. But it really became clear to me how much we attach meaning to clothes when we went on a vacation to Germany.
My whole life, my mom always talked about wanting to see the castles in Europe and live out her Harry Potter fantasies. However, she passed away last year without ever getting the chance, so we are currently on our way to celebrate her birthday at the castles of her dreams.
I filled a suitcase of almost exclusively her clothes. Just through that process of putting together an outfit every day of pieces that she wore, and remembering what that meant to me as a kid and what that continues to mean to me, just really solidified that clothes are so powerful and that it has the capacity to bring us together and to tell a little bit of our stories every single day we get to wear them. So I put together 365 outfits, which means that I have favorites and I have things that I hate. I'm gonna go through my favorite pieces first. First of all, I think that Great-Aunt Stella's blue blazer is literal perfection. I think this goes with everything. Love her. Number two, I love this crocheted jacket that Great-Aunt Stella crocheted in the 30s or 40s and that she gifted to grandma when she graduated high school in the 70s. I think it's just timeless. I wear this over anything and it makes it look very elevated. And then of course, I'm wearing them right now, grandma's 70s bell bottoms. Something about vintage jeans. I have struggled to find good jeans. These are the only pair I have ever owned that fit my waist and my hips at the same time and are still cute. So there's something to be said about vintage jeans. What did I hate the most? It was this outfit. I tried so hard to style this dog collar in a way that I liked. I think part of this experiment has also been putting content out every single day, even when you don't want to. And I think it's interesting because it always makes me think of that parable of the photography teacher who gave his students 2 grades. Half of the class was getting graded on quantity, half of the class was getting graded on quality. So the quality ones, after a semester, would turn in 1 photo and it would be graded, 0 to 100. The quantity class would turn in 100 photos. If they turned in 100, they would get 100%. Now, if they turned in 90, they would get 90%, so on and so forth. So the class that turned in quantity-wise had better quality because they just were spitting stuff out. And that has been my experience in content creation. Some days I did not want to put an outfit together, but I did anyway. And they ended up being really, really cute, or something that I really loved. Some of my favorite outfits were ones that I did not expect to love. Like this 80s dress, I'm obsessed with it, even though it's insane and I would have never picked it out on my own. I feel like one of the most commonly asked questions I get is, do you wear these out? And I really feel so bad answering this in a way that's gonna ruin people's perceptions of the experiment. However, I was not going out in full 50s outfits, but I was going out in other ones and I would incorporate them into my modern wardrobe. And surprisingly, I love Edwardian. So I did go out in this Edwardian cycling skirt to Office Max once. I felt unstoppable. What did I learn? Oh gosh. First of all, I learned that I love the 60s and 70s. I love these outfits because I wanted to develop my own personal style. I wanted to see what pieces I liked incorporating into my own wardrobe. And I learned to try things in new ways. And I learned that sometimes you're gonna be really surprised with what you grab and how you put them into styles. If I was feeling uninspired or I didn't know how to pair them, then I would try to recreate a look from the silhouette of the decade, but also, incorporate pieces from the 2000s, pieces that I just had in my wardrobe. What are we gonna do now? So I started posting this on Instagram and TikTok, but now I wanna keep using these clothes. I wanna keep showing people these pieces. So I'm here on YouTube. I'm so excited to create more vintage content for y'all. And whether you've been with me since the beginning, you found me somewhere along the way, or this is your first time seeing me, hello, thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments what kind of vintage content you were looking forward to, and let's go on this journey together.